Hi, welcome to Smart Solver. Let's learn how to study smart. Understand deeply, practice daily. Then you'll solve confidently. You can succeed anywhere.
Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're tackling something you've literally done thousands of times since you woke up, but probably haven't given a second thought to. We are going to break down the sheer biological physics behind every single breath you take. And we're looking at the whole picture today, both inhaling and exhaling. We'll get into the exact mechanics of your ribs and diaphragm, check out a classic scientific model used to visualize this process, and point out why that model is actually kind of flawed. Plus, we'll look at how you can measure your own lung capacity using nothing but water, and how to set up a truly fair test to see how exercise impacts your breathing. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it.
So let's just jump right in by actively doing it. Wherever you are right now, take a really deep breath in with me. Ready? Go for it. Now, as you hold that breath for just a split second, I want you to feel the tension in your chest. Notice how everything expanded? The big question here is, how does that air actually know to rush straight from the room, down your windpipe, and fill up your chest cavity? You know, it's not magic, and your body isn't just sucking the air in like some biological vacuum cleaner. It is entirely driven by simple, undeniable physics.
To really understand how air gets in, we have to start with one absolutely crucial concept, and that is lung volume. Put simply, lung volume is just the amount of physical space inside your lungs. I really want you to keep this concept of space in the back of your mind as we go through this, because volume is the absolute main character of this whole story. Seriously, when volume changes, everything else changes with it. Your body is essentially this highly evolved machine designed to constantly manipulate internal volume.
Okay, so how do we physically change that volume? Well, it all kicks off when the muscles in your chest and a really unique muscle called your diaphragm contract. If you've never pictured a diaphragm before, imagine this large, parachute-like dome of muscle sitting horizontally right under your lungs. It separates your chest cavity from your abdomen. When you go to take a breath, the intercostal muscles between your ribs and that parachute-like diaphragm team up to physically alter the space inside your chest. Without those specific muscle contractions, your lung volume wouldn't change at all.
This creates a wildly efficient 5-step chain reaction. Let's break down the inhale first. Step 1, your rib muscles and that diaphragm contract. Step 2, this pulls your entire rib cage up and out while the diaphragm flattens and pulls downward. Step 3, because everything is pulling outward and downward, your total chest volume increases. You've created more space. Step 4, more space means the internal pressure inside your chest actually drops compared to the atmospheric air outside your body. And step 5, since nature absolutely hates an imbalance, outside air naturally rushes into your lungs to equalize that pressure gradient. That's the inhale. But remember, we promised the full picture. Exhaling is literally just the exact reverse of this. Those same muscles just relax, your rib cage drops back down and in, and your diaphragm springs back up into its parachute shape. That shrinks the chest volume, spikes the internal pressure, and forcefully shoves the air right back out. Expand and drop pressure to pull air in, shrink and raise pressure to push air out.
Now obviously, we can't just unzip our chests to watch these pressure cycles happen in real time. So scientists use a really brilliant physical proxy called the bell jar model. It's a simple, airtight glass setup that perfectly mimics those mechanical pressure changes we just talked about. It takes all those invisible physical forces of volume and pressure and puts them right on a lab bench where we can actually see them work. It's kind of amazing how well the physical parts of this jar map directly to human anatomy. That rubber bung or stopper sealing the top, that's your upper airway and windpipe. The rigid glass bell jar itself represents your airtight chest cavity. Those empty balloons hanging inside are your lungs. And that piece of flexible rubber sheet stretched across the open bottom is a direct, functioning stand-in for your diaphragm.
The whole thing really comes alive when we interact with that bottom layer. When we physically pull that rubber sheet down, we create more physical space inside the glass jar. Just like your diaphragm moving down, the internal volume increases. That drops the pressure inside the jar, and instantly, outside air gets pushed through the top tube, inflating the balloons. A perfect synthetic inhale. And if we let go of that rubber sheet or push it up, the volume inside shrinks, pressure spikes, and the balloons instantly deflate as air is pushed out. It's a beautifully simple representation of biological physics.
All right, let's do a quick pause and think, just to lock in what we've covered so far. Here's a question for you. What happens to the rib cage during inhaling? Take just a second to visualize that muscle contraction sequence we went over. If you said it moves up and out, you absolutely nailed it. And that upward and outward motion is critical. It's not just a minor shift, it's a massive three-dimensional expansion of your chest cavity, working with the diaphragm to give those lungs the maximum volume possible.
Okay, round 2, let's see how well you mapped the physical model to the human body. Which part of the bell jar model represents the diaphragm? Think about which piece of the apparatus is doing the active pushing and pulling.
Yep, it's the rubber sheet. But you know, as great as this model is, we have to talk about its biggest flaw. The bell jar is definitely not perfect. Think about it. The glass jar represents your chest cavity, but glass is completely rigid. It doesn't move. In your actual body, your flexible rib cage is actively moving up and out to help increase that volume. The bell jar completely ignores the vital expansion of the ribs. It only shows the diaphragm's downward roll. It's a great reminder that scientific models are incredibly useful, but they rarely capture the full, messy complexity of human biology. So, as we pull all this together, let's lock in some key words: contract, diaphragm, lung volume, and asthma. Asthma is crucial to mention here because it directly messes with these mechanics by narrowing the airways, making it physically much harder for air to flow into the lungs, even when the volume expands. Now, speaking of lung volume, how do we actually measure that in the real world? Scientists use a ridiculously cool method called water displacement. You basically take a deep breath and blow into a tube connected to a water-filled bottle submerged upside down in a basin. The exact amount of water your breath pushes out of that bottle is equal to your lung capacity. It is so clever. And hey, if you ever wanted to test how exercise impacts your breathing, you'd need to design a fair test. You'd count your resting breath per minute, do something like jumping jacks for a set time, and then immediately count your breaths again. The trick to a fair test is keeping every other variable identical: the environment, the time of day, the exact exercise, so you know for sure that any change in breathing is strictly because of the physical activity.
All right, let's do a rapid-fire recap. We discovered that breathing is 100% driven by volume and pressure. Inhaling expands the chest and drops internal pressure to pull air in, while exhaling shrinks the chest to push it out. We visualized this with the bell jar model, but noted its big limitation since glass can't expand like our ribs do. We also looked at measuring real lung volume through water displacement and how to lock down variables for a fair exercise test. It is just an incredible, relentless chain of physics happening inside you every single moment. So I'll leave you with this classic advice: breathe in, breathe out, stay healthy. And honestly, the next time you go for a run and catch yourself breathing hard, ask yourself, just how much water could my lungs displace right now? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Smart Solver. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep solving smarter every day.